Guess what just happened? Ottawa just made a move that's got Washington paying close attention. Canada's Industry Minister Melanie Joly publicly stated that the country is getting shortchanged in the multi-billion-dollar F-35 fighter jet program. And this isn't just another routine complaint from a NATO partner. This is a clear signal that Canada may be ready to rethink and possibly reverse one of its biggest defense decisions of the past decade. While Lockheed Martin continues to assume the F-35 deal is firmly locked in, Sweden's Saab is quietly placing an offer on the table that's hard to ignore. 10,000 high-tech jobs, a full fighter jet manufacturing plant built inside Canada, and, perhaps most importantly, a chance for Ottawa to free itself from a defense supply chain that Washington controls almost entirely. The real question isn't whether Canada has the courage to walk away from the F-35. It's this: when industrial sovereignty collides with alliance pressure, which side will Ottawa choose? Last November, during a parliamentary hearing, Industry Minister Melanie Joly made no effort to hide her frustration. She stated plainly that Canada needs to get more out of the F-35 program, a deal Ottawa has been committed to for over 2 decades as a founding partner. Public records show that Canada has poured hundreds of millions of dollars into F-35 development since the 1990s. In return, Canadian companies were promised long-term roles in the global supply chain, producing components and providing maintenance for thousands of F-35 seconds worldwide. But reality hasn't matched expectations. Defense analysts point out that the overwhelming share of contract value still flows back to American contractors. Canadian firms receive subcontracts, but not nearly enough to build independent manufacturing capacity or establish major research hubs. In simple terms, Canada pays the bills, but the technology stays in Texas and California. Joly didn't stop at criticism. She openly called for renegotiating the terms of the deal, making it clear that if Canada continues with the F-35, the economic benefits must return home. Otherwise, in her words, Ottawa needs to explore other options that deliver real value for Canadians. And that's the moment Saab stepped in with a far more ambitious proposal. Saab, Sweden's aerospace giant, offered something few fighter manufacturers would dare to promise: building a complete Gripen E production line inside Canada. The proposal includes creating 10,000 jobs across research, manufacturing, and long-term maintenance. This isn't just talk. Public sources show Saab presented detailed plans for technology transfer, training Canadian engineers, and building a domestic supplier network. Everything, from airframes and avionics to assembly and maintenance, would be handled by Canadian teams on Canadian soil. This philosophy isn't new to Saab. During the Cold War, Sweden deliberately refused to depend on either the United States or the Soviet Union. Its defense strategy was built around industrial independence. The Gripen reflects that mindset. It was designed to operate from highways maintained by small crews and integrated with systems from multiple suppliers instead of being locked into a single source. For Canada, this represents a rare opportunity. Instead of remaining a passive buyer of finished aircraft, Ottawa could build a genuine aerospace defense industry. This goes beyond job creation. It means owning the technology, upgrading systems independently, performing repairs without external approval, and even exporting components to other Gripen operating countries. But industrial promises alone aren't enough. Saab also needs to prove that the Gripen E meets Canada's real operational needs. Canada isn't focused on fighting distant wars. Its top priority is Arctic sovereignty, patrolling vast airspace and maintaining readiness in some of the harshest conditions on Earth. And this is where the Gripen excels. According to public technical data, the Gripen is engineered for extreme environments, designed for Sweden's northern climate. It can take off from snow-covered runways, operate in deep sub-zero temperatures, and land on short or improvised surfaces. For Canada, where Arctic bases face blizzards and temperatures dropping below -40 degrees Celsius, that capability isn't a luxury, it's essential. Cost is another major factor. Analysts estimate the Gripen E's cost per flight hour at around $8,000 compared to $35,000 to $47,000 for the F-35. With a limited defense budget, lower operating costs mean more flight hours, better pilot training, and higher overall readiness. The F-35, of course, has its strengths. It's a fifth-generation stealth fighter deeply integrated into NATO and NORAD networks. It can penetrate defended airspace, deliver precision strikes, and share real-time battlefield data with allies. But experts are increasingly asking a hard question: does Canada actually need stealth fighters to patrol the Arctic, or does it need a reliable fleet that's always ready without draining the defense budget? Then there's the bigger issue: technology sovereignty. The F-35 isn't just an aircraft, it's an ecosystem controlled entirely by the United States. Software updates, weapons integration, spare parts, and even certain repairs all require approval through Lockheed Martin and the Pentagon. Canada can't independently upgrade systems, integrate non-US weapons, or fully control maintenance. In practical terms, this creates strategic dependence. If Canada-US relations were to sour over trade disputes, climate policy, or Arctic claims, Washington could delay parts, restrict updates, or limit access to critical systems. Analysts describe this as hard technology dependence. Canada would own the aircraft but not truly control them. The Gripen E takes a different approach. Saab's open architecture design allows customer nations to integrate weapons, radars, and avionics from multiple suppliers. Brazil, for example, has developed its own communication systems and integrated indigenous weapons without needing Sweden's approval. For Canada, this opens the door to real defense innovation without foreign constraints. This is where political pressure begins to rise. Washington has made it clear that the F-35 isn't just a purchase, it's a strategic commitment. Pentagon officials have repeatedly emphasized that the aircraft ensures deep interoperability among NATO and NORAD partners. Choosing the Gripen would mean Canada operates a different platform from the US, the UK, and other close allies. Yet analysts argue this challenge is manageable. The Gripen uses NATO communication standards and has already demonstrated interoperability with Western aircraft, including the F-35. Sweden, long neutral and only recently joining NATO, has proven that Gripens can operate alongside allied forces without major issues. The real pressure, experts say, isn't technical, it's political. The F-35 program reinforces American influence. Buying the aircraft ties nations into Washington's military ecosystem, creating long-term dependence and diplomatic leverage. If Canada breaks away, it sends a powerful message to other allies: security doesn't require total dependence, and Canada's strategy goes beyond fighter jets. On October 30th, 2025, Canada and South Korea signed Ottawa's first security and defense cooperation agreement in the Indo-Pacific. This wasn't symbolic, it opened the door to technology transfer, industrial cooperation, and shared development in critical sectors. South Korea has emerged as a global defense manufacturing powerhouse, producing advanced systems like the K-2 Black Panther tank, K-9 Thunder howitzer, and modern naval vessels, often at lower cost than Western competitors. Canada sees an opportunity to learn from this model. Under Prime Minister Mark Carney, this vision has become clearer. Carney has consistently argued that Canada must move beyond being a raw materials supplier and become a true manufacturing nation. He wants aircraft, ships, and clean energy systems built domestically, creating high-skilled jobs and retaining value at home. In an era shaped by America First policies, tariffs, and technology restrictions, Ottawa recognizes that goodwill alone isn't enough. Self-sufficiency is becoming a strategic necessity. Saab's proposal, the South Korea agreement, and Melanie Joly's statements all point toward the same conclusion: Canada is reassessing its role. The decision between the F-35 and the Gripen isn't about speed or stealth alone, it's about what kind of country Canada wants to be. A junior partner locked into someone else's system, or an independent power building its own industrial future, and the consequences extend far beyond Canada. If Ottawa can say no to the F-35, other nations will start asking the same question. Washington is watching closely, because if Canada succeeds, it becomes a blueprint for balancing alliances with sovereignty. The real question isn't what Canada will choose, it's how the world why LL change once that choice is made.